Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next hour. Reserve Bank of India keeps the policy repo rate unchanged at 5.5%. RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra says domestic growth is holding up, maintains GDP growth projection at 6.5% for fiscal year 2026. US President Donald Trump says he's clueless on the US trade with Russia. Nikki Haley warns the US should not burn its relationship with a strong ally like India while giving a pause to China. US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is in Moscow to meet the Russian leadership ahead of sanctions deadline until Friday. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu considers full Gaza takeover despite internal divisions. US President Trump leaves it pretty much up to Israel. UN warns expanded operations in Gaza risk catastrophic consequences. And rescue operations in full swing after a cloudburst triggered flash floods in Uttarakhand district of Uttarakhand. 5 reported dead so far, around 150 rescued. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami conducts aerial survey of the affected areas. India's Monetary Policy Committee has kept the policy repo rate unchanged at 5.5% and the neutral stance to continue. The MPC statement was delivered by Reserve Bank of India Governor Sanjay Malhotra on Wednesday. The real GDP growth for 2025-26 is projected at 6.5%, while the real GDP growth for the next quarter is projected at 6.6%.
Growth for 2025-26, the current year, is projected at 6.5%, our earlier projection, with Q1 at 6.5%, Q2 at 6.7%, Q3 at 6.6%, and Q4 at 6.3%. Real GDP growth for Q1 next year, 2026-27, is projected at 6.6%. The risks are evenly balanced.
Speaking on foreign direct investments, FDI, RBI Governor said that gross FDI to India remained strong during April to May 2025-26 this year. However, net FDI was moderated.
On the external financing side, gross FDI to India remained strong during April to May 2025-26 this year. However, net FDI moderated during this period due to higher outward FDI. FPI inflows to emerging markets and economies have remained strong in May and June 2025. Our new FPI, net FPI, to India recorded outflows of $0.8 billion this year so far till July 31.
Further, it was informed that RBI is monitoring macroeconomic conditions and will continue to take efforts for economic growth to be on track.
Continue to monitor our macroeconomic conditions on a policy-to-policy basis and accordingly take a call. So it's all, very, very uncertain. We already did 100 basis point rate cut. The other thing is that monetary policy transmission is still happening. So we will continue. We'll continue to do whatever is required to facilitate good growth while, of course, maintaining price stability.
DD India's Shama Mishra joins us from Mumbai now on the story. She has Sunita Ramnathkar, President IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry with her. Over to you, Shama.
Tanvi, we are still waiting for the president over here. She is in in another meeting and she'll be soon with us. But yes, talking on the Reserve Bank of India's monetary policy, today was the first policy that under the new governor's regime where we've not seen a rate cut, and the RBI Monetary Policy Committee has maintained the status quo. Now remember, this was done unanimously. That means all the members have agreed that this time around the pause should be cautiously timed, and it is, because there is so much global uncertainty happening right now in the global trade, and it's ever evolving, and that is what the governor Sanjay Malhotra has time and again pointed out, that this is a time of uncertainty, but there are signs of strength in the domestic economy, and that is why India and the Indian economy is holding up pretty good. Also, the GDP growth forecast has been as it is, which was earlier projected at 6.5%. It is continuing at that particular point. And the good news over here is that the CPI inflation has been revised downwards. That means earlier it was 3.7% and now it has been projected at 3.1%. So it is a news of relief for the people, because inflation is under control and Reserve Bank of India always wants it to be under 4%, and this is a very comfortable range for Reserve Bank of India. Also, the coming festive season will bring itself a lot of relief for the people, and as we see that the potential or the disposable income increases, India's growth at this particular these particular months will also see a good performance over here. We also spoke to the governor when the post-policy press conference was happening, and we asked about how these global uncertainties are panning out, and is RBI worried about this having any impact on the inflation or having any impact on the Indian economy. But yes, we are we have received very positive statement from the governor, and Sunita Ramnatkar is with us. Let's talk to her. Hi ma'am, welcome to DD India. So we were talking about how the Reserve Bank of India, this particular policy was on expected lines. What would you say about this policy?
In February, the Reserve Bank of India reduced 100 BPS, and that has proved to be okay. It's going on. People are observing. I think already the changes are being noticed. The consumption has increased, and I think we'll have to wait for some time to see it taking effect. But I feel what we are doing is the right thing by waiting for a while to see if this policy it works before putting another policy in place.
Okay. Talking about these global uncertainties, everybody is, and we are worried about the US tariffs being implemented. How do you see this panning out, if at all it is getting implemented? How do you see this panning out?
Yes, I see more that the government capital expenditure has hiked up so that our economy doesn't get disturbed. I am hoping that the UK FTA and the other FTAs which we have signed with 16 other countries will help us navigate through this, and sooner than later we should have a steady impasse with US, and we should start our business slowly with them. I totally depend on the government to do what is best for the MSMEs and the people of India.
All right. So a very important point over here, Sunita has raised that in the last decade, India has been having a strong relationship with many countries, and the result of which is various FTAs that we have signed, and that will obviously help the country, help India in dealing with all this which is going on. Ma'am, one more last question which I'm asking you is, you talked about MSMEs. How do you see the impact on MSMEs if at all this gets implemented, or is our the entire the US tariffs, or we are the backbone and everything is strong enough to withstand this?
There are a lot of ancillary jobs conducted by the MSMEs which help the exporters, and they depend on MSMEs to provide timely export expansion for their needs. So MSMEs will get affected, but I don't know to which extent, because our own economy should be robust enough to at least tide them through this delicate period. And I'm sure people will search for greener horizons like the UK and the other countries to do business in. In fact, big businesses are exploring the avenues, and they will pull along the MSMEs to do it.
All right. So our country's economy is obviously robust. Ma'am has also said that, and even the governor of Reserve Bank of India has said that our economy, our way of things back at home is robust. So definitely we are hoping that even if this gets implemented, our country is ready to take on this particular situation, and it will come out much stronger, much robust.
Okay, Shama, thank you very much for being with us. And let me also now bring in Dr. Charan Singh, eminent economist and CEO, eGrow Foundation. Welcome, sir, to DD India. Could you explain why the Reserve Bank has chosen to keep the repo rate, the rate at which it lends to commercial banks, unchanged at 5.5% in its latest policy review?
That's a very good question. Why it sought to keep it unchanged? Actually, the eGrow shadow monetary policy had discussed at length last week, and even amongst us, we felt that probably it would be a good idea to keep it unchanged. Some of us felt that we should probably lower it further, but many of us felt that maybe it is a good idea to keep it unchanged. The governor, in his wisdom, rightly articulated, and I thought he articulated it very well. The first thing that he mentioned is the economy is doing well. It's on an even keel. We are approaching the festival season and everything seems to be under control. Inflation is doing well, absolutely no problems. Bank credit, non-performing assets in the banking sector, in NBFCs are doing reasonable. Credit offtake is taking place very well. But there are global uncertainties. And in global uncertainties, we have to really watch what is going to happen and how is it going to unfold. The tariff war, as you know, is also taking place, and we are in the midst of that tariff war. Another important point that he made, and I thought that was very cogent, was the 100 basis point reduction has happened place in the last few months, and how is it getting transmitted across the economy. On the weighted average lending rate, he mentioned that about 71 basis point or 0.71% has been transmitted. As far as the term deposit rates are concerned, over there it has been a little more aggressive, 0.87% or 87 basis point has been transmitted. What does that translate, or what does it imply? It means that the transmission is taking place and not fully done. In the call money market rate also, and in the government securities market rate also, there has been a perceptible difference because there has been a rate cut. Given this situation, that the transmission is taking place, the economy is doing reasonably well, I think they have maintained the neutral position and decided to hold the interest rates where they are. I think it's logical.
Okay.
One would, as an economist, I would expect that we had front-loaded the cuts and we had gone ahead with it, because in the manufacturing sector and in certain sectors, there is a little letdown. But I think if not now, maybe in October, the cut would happen. Also depends on how the American economy is behaving. They were holding back the interest rates, and that's fair. So I would agree with the governor at this stage. Let the transmission take place. Let the things become a little more clearer, global economy and domestic economy. Domestic economy is of course doing very well, and then we can take the call.
Okay, the Reserve Bank has forecast inflation in the next fiscal at 3.1%, lower than its earlier projection of 3.7%. What does this indicate for the Indian economy and future bank interest rates?
So that is a very good point that you have again made on inflation. That is where the monetary policy basically hinges upon. The inflation rate has certainly been looking southwards, and which is very, very good. And that is happening mainly because of fuel to some extent. And mostly it is happening because of double-digit decline in food and vegetables. Now the projections which the governor has presented over the next 1 year are all in the range of mainly 3%. It averages 3.1% for the year, but of course when he has given a breakdown of quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, therein he says in quarter 4 it may go up to 4.4, and that is one of the reasons he gave why he is holding a pause, that inflation may look up. The other point that he made, and I think that's also quite a solid point, is the core inflation. The core inflation in the month of December to Jan was 3.6%. It has risen to 4.1, 4.2% in February, May. In June, it has risen to 4.4%. The headline inflation continues to be in the range of 3 to 4%, which is the pivot, which is the average of 2 plus minus 4 plus minus 2, that makes us 2 and 6%. So I think it is within that range. It's very comfortable position as far as inflation is concerned. Little worried, very little worried, because 9 months from now, quarter 1 of the next year, it may be in the range of 4%,
Okay.
4.4%. So probably that is why he is holding back, and that is fair enough. Otherwise, I think inflation is under control. When inflation is under control, that also means that the repo rate and the monetary policy stance, keeping it neutral, is perfectly fine. And one can expect, given the global situation as or uncertainties related to tariff, one can then expect the interest rates to follow the downward trajectory.
Okay. Dr. Singh, the Reserve Bank has said that commercial bank credit grew by 12.1% in fiscal year 2025. How do you interpret this number in terms of what it could mean for the Indian economy?
Yes, I think the bank credit is doing very well. Of course, the governor mentioned it very transparently that in the previous year the growth rate was 16.3%. But if you take a 10-year average, this 12.1% which you're mentioning is reasonably robust given the circumstances. But the governor also clarified that the non-food credit by the banking sector, yes, but overall credit flow to the commercial sector is doing very well. So there is no letdown on that front. As a banker and as an economist, I would look at the non-performing assets also and capital adequacy ratios also. The capital adequacy ratios are in the range of 17%, which is superb. And when you look at the net non-performing assets, they're around 0.53%, which is, I think, the best one can expect anywhere. And the gross non-performing assets are down to 2.2 odd percent. So I think the banking sector is now reasonably robust and I think doing a roaring business, and that is something which we should be proud of. Remember, for a certain time, not too long ago, many of the public sector banks were under the prompt corrective action and our non-performing assets were in the range of 3 to 4%. Bringing them down to the current level is far better than many other countries in the world. Given the global uncertainties that we have, I think the banking industry is doing very well.
Okay, bright prospects for the Indian economy in a nutshell. Thank you very much, Dr. Charan Singh, for giving us your analysis on the latest monetary policy review of the Reserve Bank of India. Thank you for being with us. All right. Donald Trump doesn't seem to know it all. Apparently, he has no knowledge that the United States imports Russian chemicals and fertilizers. But he still thinks that the Indian economy is dependent on Russian oil. Though he doesn't care if New Delhi has diversified its energy needs. The rebuttal came after India claimed that US continues to import from Russian uranium hexafluoride for its nuclear industry, fertilizers, as well as chemicals.
India says that the US imports Russian uranium, chemicals, fertilizers, while criticizing their energy imports. Your response to that, sir?
I don't know anything about it. I'd have to check, but we'll get back to you on that.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley urged Donald Trump not to damage ties with a strong ally like India. Haley backed New Delhi and criticized Trump for going soft on China despite its close ties with Russia, warning against alienating strategic partners. Taking to social media platform X, Nikki Haley wrote, India should not be buying oil from Russia, but China, an adversary and the #1 buyer of Russian and Iranian oil, got a 90-day tariff pause. Don't give China a pass and burn a relationship with a strong ally like India. So Haley's comments for India come after Donald Trump said that he would issue a fresh tariff rate for India due to its purchase of Russian oil. US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is in Russia and is set to meet with the Russian leadership in Moscow on Wednesday. This is ahead of President Donald Trump's deadline to impose fresh sanctions on Russia for its ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Trump has given Russia time until Friday to halt its offensive against Ukraine or face new penalties. The move would aim to stifle Russian exports but would risk significant international disruption. The visit comes after Donald Trump said that the two nuclear submarines he deployed following an online row with former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev were now in the region.
Clearly, the president's not happy with Mr. Putin and Russia, but he remains committed to diplomatic solutions. I would say that we've also seen a remark, perhaps a reflection of possible secondary sanctions regarding the sale of oil, people who are countries that are buying Russian oil, and that has been openly discussed by the president. But when it comes to things that are decided, we would wait for the president to say that.
But Donald Trump also said on Tuesday that he would await the outcome of the Moscow talks before moving forward with any economic retaliation.
We'll see what happens over the next fairly short period of time, but we'll see what happens. You know, they have a meeting tomorrow. We have a meeting with Russia tomorrow. We're going to see what happens. We'll make that determination at that time.
Now, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Wednesday that improving relations between Russia and the United States will take time, referring to the prolonged absence of a meeting between President Vladimir Putin and President Donald Trump. Peskov, in his remarks to a news agency, said that it takes time for efforts to bring bilateral relations back onto a normal track, but there is inherent delay in the process. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier on Tuesday had a productive call with his US counterpart Donald Trump. Both leaders discussed Russia-Ukraine conflict, sanctions on Russia, and the finalization of a US-Ukraine drone deal. Taking to social media platform X, Zelensky said that President Trump is fully informed about Russian strikes on Kiev and other cities and communities, referring to the intensifying drone and missile attacks. On to West Asia now. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Tuesday that Tel Aviv must complete the defeat of Hamas in Gaza to secure the release of the remaining hostages. Netanyahu later visited an army induction base in Tel HaShomer neighborhood of Ramat Gan, where he met with Armored Corps and Combat Engineering Corps recruits. Netanyahu met senior security officials to finalize a new strategy for the nearly two-year war in the Gaza Strip, while a cabinet meeting to discuss an updated war plan is scheduled for Thursday. Moreover, recent efforts to mediate a truce between Israel and Palestinian terrorist group Hamas, which governs Gaza, have collapsed. The United Nations on Tuesday called reports about a possible decision to expand Israel's military operations throughout the Gaza Strip deeply alarming if true. UN Assistant Secretary General M. Jenka told a UN Security Council meeting on the situation in Gaza that such a move would risk catastrophic consequences and could further endanger the lives of the remaining hostages in Gaza. China's deputy UN representative also expressed great concern and called for a ceasefire, while urging countries with influence to take concrete steps to help bring about a ceasefire. The group of 7 countries, France, Canada and Britain, have announced plans to recognize Palestinian statehood in September at the UN General Assembly. Now, the brother of Israeli hostage Evayatar David told the Security Council to use the leverage to secure the immediate unconditional release of remaining hostages and to ensure humanitarian aid reaches them. David was shown appearing emaciated in a video released by Hamas last week, showing the video of his brother. He said his brother is a living skeleton, barely the strength to move or speak, his voice barely recognizable.
Video also exposed another horrifying truth. As my younger brother a living skeleton was forced to speak and dig his future grave, you can see the chubby and well-fed hand of Hamas terrorists enter into the frame. We must ensure that all hostages are being released immediately and unconditionally. We don't have more time. They don't have more time. And every minute counts.
During a visit to Latvia, Israeli President Isaac Herzog called on the international community to present a unanimous, tough position to not talk to Hamas until they release the hostages still held in Gaza.
On the international community from Riga for a change, how about presenting a unanimous, tough position, including Europe, and saying to Hamas and its allies, we're not talking to you until you release the hostages.
On to the weather front now. Rescuers rushed to save stranded citizens in southern China's Guangdong province as streets got flooded due to heavy rains brought by East Asian monsoon. Heavy downpour triggered flash floods in many areas, destroying roads, downing cables along with mudslides and fallen trees across several cities. In Huidong, firefighting emergency teams used rubber boats to evacuate 25 people trapped in flood waters. Emergency teams also rescued people trapped in cars and other vehicles submerged in flooded streets in Zhangmutao County. In Europe, a massive wildfire created havoc in the Aude region of southern France on Wednesday. The fire progressed quickly near the Spanish border, with over 1,800 firefighters trying to put it off. Local authorities have reported the death of an individual, with about 2,500 households in the area with no electricity. French President Emmanuel Macron has assured that all government resources are being mobilized to tackle the fire. As per the fire brigade, the blaze has scorched more than 4,500 hectares of forest area. And next we take a look at other stories making news around the world. South Korea's former First Lady Kim Kyon-hee apologized on Wednesday as she appeared for questioning by investigators on a string of corruption charges, calling herself a nobody. Kim faces a long list of charges including stock fraud, bribery and illegal influence peddling. Australia's Great Barrier Reef has suffered its most extensive coral bleaching on record, with ocean heat waves in 2024 triggering catastrophic damage, according to the Australian Institute of Marine Science. Scientists blame climate-driven heat stress, urging prompt emissions cuts to halt accelerating reef decline. And national exhibition of sci-tech achievements in furniture and finishing building materials is being held in North Korea's Pyongyang. The exhibition showcases over 3,600 items, including multifunctional furniture, construction finishing materials, and decorative lighting. You're watching DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Kartvya Bhavan 3rd in New Delhi. State-of-the-art complex brings ministries and departments under one roof for swift governance. And raucous forces adjournments in both houses of Indian Parliament. Updates on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Here are our top stories at this hour. Reserve Bank of India keeps the policy repo rate unchanged at 5.5%. RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra says domestic growth is holding up, maintains GDP growth projection at 6.5% for fiscal year 2026. US President Donald Trump says he's clueless on US trade with Russia. Nikki Haley warns the US should not burn its relationship with a strong ally like India while giving a pass to China. US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is in Moscow to meet Russian leadership ahead of the sanctions deadline until Friday. And rescue operations in full swing after a cloudburst triggered flash floods in Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand. NDRF says around 150 rescued, 5 reported dead. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami conducts aerial survey of the affected areas. So relief and rescue operations are going on war footing after a cloudburst wreaked havoc, sweeping away homes, shops and roads in Uttarakhand. The Indian Army is fully committed to providing all possible support and assistance to the affected population, with over 70 individuals rescued so far. Search and rescue operations are ongoing and 2 additional rescue and relief columns have been mobilized to Gangotri and Dharali. Drones and rescue dogs are being utilized to locate stranded civilians, and evacuated individuals are being provided with medical assistance and food. Earth-moving equipment has been deployed to open road access from Harshil to Dharali. The Indian Army has deployed its Mi-17 and Chinook helicopters to look over the stranded. Additional Army columns along with Army tracker dogs, drones and earth-moving equipment have been moved ahead to supplement the resources at Harshil to hasten the efforts. 2 cloudbursts, one in Dharali and another in Sukitop area, caused widespread destruction on Tuesday, with Dharali bearing the maximum brunt. The village is the main stopover on way to Gangotri, from where Ganga originates. Earlier, NDRF DIG Mohsin Shahidi addressed media persons saying that teams of IDBP, SDRF, NDRF, Border Roads Organization are carrying out rescue operations, and it was informed that around 150 people have been taken to safe spots. 3 teams of NDRF are on the way and they will reach the spot as soon as the road reopens, while teams are on standby in Pantnagar, Gochar and Joshimath, which will be sent once weather improves. Listen in.
जो अभी टीम्स ऑलरेडी मौजूद है वहाँ पर आईटीबीपी की हैं, एसडीआरएफ हैं, बीआरओ हैं, वो लोग अभी काम कर रहे हैं घटना स्थल पर, और राहत शिविर जो है वहाँ पर लगाया गया है। तो तकरीबन 150 लोगों को अभी सुरक्षित स्थानों पर पहुँचाया गया है और लोगों की खोज हो रही है। हमारी अभी 3 टीमें रास्ते में हैं जो काफ़ी नज़दीक हैं। जैसे ही रास्ता खुलेगा उसके बाद वो पहुँच पाएंगी वहाँ पर, और हमारी 60 लोग 2 टीमें वहाँ पर एयरपोर्ट पर भी मौजूद हैं। स्टैंड बाय में हमारी टीम पंतनगर में, गौचर में और जोशीमठ में भी मौजूद हैं। जैसे ही अगर मौसम खुलेगा और सिचुएशन ऐसी रहेगी, ज़रूरत पड़ेगी एडिशनल टीम्स की, तो उनको भेजा जाएगा।
And Mohsin Shahidi ji, DIG Operations, National Disaster Response Force, is joining us now. Welcome, sir, to DD India. Well, these are definitely very difficult rescue conditions the Army and rescue teams are operating in. So Mi-17 and Chinook helicopters have been deployed. If you could please update us on the rescue operations on the second day of the disaster.
Thank you. As you have already covered, the rescue operation is on with the agencies on ground zero. And the information we have is that about 150 people who were in the impact areas after this flash flood, they have been evacuated as a precautionary measure so that, if there is any secondary incident, they are safe. So the relief camps have been established, and the medical facilities are also available on ground for them. So this is the situation update on ground zero. As far as NDRF is concerned, the teams are en route. Lot of landslides are occurring on the the highway, the Rishikesh Uttarkashi highway, due to which the movement is impacted, and the GREF and other agencies are there who are continuously working to repair the roads. And as soon as it's made and it's through, then we'll be able to immediately reach and join the operation. The teams are also on standby. They are in readiness at the airport. Due to inclement weather, the airlift is not actually happening, and we are just hoping that window would be there, and then the teams can be airlifted and reach the destination.
Okay, what has been the damage at the army camp in Harsil, sir? How many army personnel are reportedly missing?
The report we have is that about 11 personnel are missing. The confirmation is still awaited from the district and administration and the army. The search is on, and I think shortly we will be getting the details.
Okay, in Dharali, like we were mentioning, Dharali has taken maximum brunt of this cloudburst. So 40 to 50 buildings have been damaged there. It's a great number. Can we expect the number of dead to rise in the days ahead?
It would be difficult to comment on this, because the local administration would take a stock of the situation. What was the ground reality? How many people were there? But definitely, a lot of shops were there. The commercial hubs were there. Some residential complexes were there, which have been impacted. I think the ground situation is like that, and the district administration is seized of the matter. They are, appreciating the issue.
Okay, lastly, sir, it has been a very commendable rescue operation in both Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh's Kinnaur Kailash route, where over 400 pilgrims have been rescued via zipline. A word on that?
Yes, yesterday evening, this information came to us, and one team was immediately mobilized for this. The ITBP was already there. A bridge was washed, which was in fact, connected. And then a lot of people, about 400 plus people, were rescued, and they were able to cross to safety. And today also, in fact, there is a requirement of evacuation of these people, the yatris, to safer places. That action is on right now, and the team is there at the spot. So this is a very a joint operation which is underway with the local administration, ITBP and NDRF.
Thank you very much, Mohsen Shahidi ji, for being with us. We pray for the dead, the missing and the displaced. Great efforts there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami this morning again and took stock of the situation. A day after the Dharali cloudburst, PM Modi inquired about relief and rescue status and assured all possible assistance from the central government. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami informed Prime Minister Modi about the relief and rescue operations, evacuation of people to safer places from the incident site, and ensuring availability of services and resources. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami expressed gratitude to Prime Minister Modi for ensuring all possible assistance from the central government. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami undertook an aerial survey of the disaster-affected Dharali area. Earlier, speaking to media persons, he informed that relief and rescue operations are ongoing at a war footing. He said that all the concerned departments are working with full vigilance and promptness to ensure swift and adequate assistance reaches the affected.
धराली की आपदा आई है, उस आपदा में सभी एजेंसियां हमारी वहां पर काम कर रही है। सेना के लोग भी काम कर रहे हैं। बचाव और राहत के काम में आईटीबीपी लगी है, एनडीआरएफ, एसडीआरएफ और स्थानीय लोग, सभी लोग बचाव के काम में लगे हैं। कल लगभग 130 के लगभग लोगों को रात को रेस्क्यू किया गया है और अभी लगातार खोजबीन जारी है। रास्ते में चूँकि काफ़ी ज़्यादा मौसम ख़राब होने के कारण से अनेक स्थानों पर मार्गों का जो संपर्क है वो कट गया है और कुछ पुल भी जो है क्षतिग्रस्त हो गए हैं। राज्य के स्तर पर भी 10 डिप्टी एसपी, 3 एसपी और लगभग 160 पुलिसकर्मी भी इस काम में लगाए हैं जो राहत और बचाव के काम को करेंगे।
The Chief Minister also visited the State Emergency Operations Centre after conducting the aerial survey. Chief Minister Dhami took stock of the situation in the cloudburst and flash flood incident. And DD India's Dr. Kanchan Negi joins us from Dehradun for more updates. Kanchan, 5 people have been dead so far in the cloudburst-triggered flash floods. Do we have an estimate on the number of people washed away in the floods and the number of still missing?
Well, Tanvi, at the onset, it is indeed a moment of grief and deep concern for all of us. The waves of the swollen streams and rivers are hitting hard, Tanvi, sweeping away everything in their path. As of now, over 5 have been washed away. Around 150 people have been relocated to safer areas, Tanvi. Relief and rescue operations are being carried out on a war footing in the Dharali region of Uttarkashi district, Uttarakhand, following a devastating flood caused by cloudburst over the Khir Ganga River yesterday. The Army, NDRF, SDRF, district administration and other teams are continuously engaged in rescue efforts, Sanvi, and the administration has ensured proper arrangements for food, water, medicines and shelter at relief camps to provide immediate aid to those affected. To add on, Tanvi, in these trying hours, Chief Minister Shri Pushkar Singh Dhami is personally monitoring the situation. He reached the site to take stock and extend support to the victims and their families. District Magistrate Prasar Bharati, along with the cabinet ministers, the officials from the health department, senior IAS and health secretary Dr. R. Rajesh Kumar, team of SDRF, NDRF, Indian Army, and the Disaster Management Authority are all working around the clock, Tanvi.
Okay.
Temporary shelters, medical camps, and relief distribution points have been established, and airlifting operations are also being mobilized wherever needed. And moreover, the areas are blocked. Wherever the areas are blocked, the government is reaching there through transshipment. Road connectivity has been disrupted in the Bhatwari area due to the damaged roads. And efforts to clear landslides on the Uttarkashi-Harsil route are ongoing at a rapid pace. Meanwhile, CM Pushkar Singh Dhami conducted an aerial survey of the disaster-affected areas today, and he also carried out a detailed review of the relief and rescue operations at the disaster control room in Uttarkashi. He also stated, Tanvi, that the ITBP, SDRF and NDRF and the local residents are working together in the rescue mission. Although damage to some roads and bridges has posed challenges to the relief efforts, all agencies are fully committed.
Okay.
In fact, Tanvi, I want to add on that Prime Minister Narendra Modi did speak to the CM Dhami over the phone to get an update on the relief efforts and assured all possible assistance from the central government. And the CM also expressed his gratitude and said every effort is being made to safely evacuate all the affected individuals.
Okay.
Tanvi.
Okay, thank you very much. Kanchan Negi reporting from Dehradun. All right, in neighbouring Himachal Pradesh, heavy downpour was witnessed for the second day in a row in the hilly state as a cloudburst in Kinnaur led to flooding in the district on Wednesday. In Kinnaur, continuous heavy rainfall damaged several sections of the Kinnaur-Kailash Yatra route, forcing the authorities to suspend the yatra from Wednesday until further orders. The downpour also caused landslides at many places on the national highway, which halted all transportation. IDBP and NDRF teams are carrying out search operations with 413 pilgrims rescued and evacuated so far with the help of rope rescue traverse crossing technique. One person has been reported dead. Bridges over the Tangalipi and Kangrang streams have been reportedly washed away due to strong currents caused by the rain and floods. And here we see the rope traverse technique being used by the army personnel. The authorities also cautioned that most of the trekking paths on the Yatra route have become extremely slippery or affected by landslides, and therefore they pose a risk to the safety of the pilgrims. The IMD has issued warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall in the next 12 hours at isolated places in around 12 districts of the state. And indeed, India's Rachna Verma joins us from Shimla now on the story. Rachna, again, deadly landslides and floods there. How many people have been rescued so far? What is the estimate about the pilgrims still stuck on the Kinnaur-Kailash Yatra route?
A continuously heavy rainfall over the past 2 days severely disrupted life in Himachal Pradesh. So as the rescue operation, till now NDRF and ITBP has rescued around 413 pilgrims from different routes of the Kinnaur-Kailash Yatra. However, it is estimated that 130 pilgrimages are still stranded in the higher altitude of the Kinnaur-Kailash Yatra. Though it is very difficult to quote the specific figure here because of the disruptive communication, but it is estimated that the figure it is definitely around 100 and 130.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rachna. Rachna Verma joining us from Shimla on the search and rescue operations underway by ITBP on the Kinnaur Kailash Yatra route. Thank you. Now, in a significant milestone towards reshaping India's administrative heart, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday inaugurated the Kartvya Bhavan, a key landmark under the ambitious Central Vista redevelopment project. Located at the centre of New Delhi at Kartvya Path, this modern and eco-friendly office complex will now house major ministries like that of the Home Affairs, External Affairs, Rural Development, bringing them under one roof for smarter, seamless governance. Spread across 1.5 lakh square meters, the newly inaugurated Kartvya Bhavan marks the beginning of a new era of administrative efficiency designed with sustainability at its core, promising 30% energy savings and generating over 5 lakh units of electricity annually. After the inauguration, Prime Minister Modi interacted with the workers who contributed in building Kartvya Bhavan 3. Along with the leaders present, Prime Minister Modi also planted a sapling at the Bhavan premises. The Kartvya Bhavan is part of a larger transformation that includes the redeveloped Kartvya Path, the new Parliament building, and future-ready secretariat structures, all set to redefine how governance functions in India's capital. The vision: a citizen-centric, greener, and more connected government. With this inauguration, the Central Vista is no longer just a redevelopment program. It is a symbol of stronger, modern India in motion. And to take us through this transformation, Dibyendu Mondal is joining us from New Delhi. Dibyendu, tell us more about the Central Vista redevelopment project and how will it be more significant for governance?
Well, Tanvi, today the Common Central Secretariat's Kartvya Bhavan has been inaugurated this afternoon by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is an effort to make governance seamless with connecting all the ministries together in one single complex. This is, of course, just one part of the entire CCS complex that is being developed at the heart of the national capital here in New Delhi. There will be multiple other buildings that will house 51 ministries together. This is just one of those buildings that is built on plot number 137. This building spreads across almost 1.83 lakh square meters of total area. This has about 7 floors in total and 2 basements that will be used for various purposes. This has been a larger vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Central Vista project. So what is the Central Vista project? The Central Vista project has been envisioned to develop the entire Central Secretariat region of New Delhi, which consists of the Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is the President's House of India, which also consists of the Parliament building, the Kartvya Path, which was earlier known as Rajpath, housing the India Gate complex. It also will now house the many common Central Secretariat buildings that will house more than 51 ministries. So this is, of course, part of the government's seamless, effortless governance that can connect all ministries together in one single complex. So therefore, this inauguration comes at a time when the government has been pushing for faster resolutions, seamless governance, minimum governance, as well as bringing all the ministries together on the same page. So therefore, earlier, what used to happen, Tanvi, is that all the ministries of the government of India spread across different parts of the national capital here in New Delhi. So therefore, bringing them together in one particular complex will help ease the movement of files, the movement of officers, and the decision-taking time will also reduce, given the fact that the travel time, the time or the gap between communications of different ministries will now be filled because they will all be located in one single complex. Okay. So therefore, this is a larger vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for seamless, effortless, efficient governance.
Okay, we leave it here. Thank you very much, Dibyendu Mondal, reporting from New Delhi. In the ongoing monsoon session of Parliament, the upper and the lower house saw multiple disruptions amid ruckus by opposition. In Lok Sabha, the lower house, the Merchant Shipping Bill 2024 was passed on Wednesday amid uproar. The bill was moved by Ports, Shipping and Waterways Minister Sarbanand Sonowal. Earlier, Speaker Om Birla led the House in paying tributes on the 80th anniversary of the nuclear attack on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In the Rajya Sabha, the upper house, Minister of State for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Shantanu Thakur, replied to the discussion on the carriage of goods by sea Bill 2025. Earlier in the day, Deputy Chairman Harivansh refused to accept notices under Rule 267 and urged the members not to create a ruckus and present their stance during the zero hour. And next we take a look at other stories making news in India. The 29th edition of Delhi Book Fair and the 25th Stationery Fair began at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi today. Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta inaugurated the fair. Organized by India Trade Promotion Organization, the theme of the book fair is Books and Publishers, the Future of Multilingual India. This Independence Day, the traditional 21-gun salute will echo with the roar of indigenously made 105mm light field guns, replacing the British pounder guns used in past ceremonies. 2025 marks a proud showcase of India's growing self-reliance in defense sector. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sporting action. Taylor Fritz of the United States has set up an All-American semi-final with Ben Shelton at the Canadian Open in Toronto on Wednesday. Fritz beat Andrei Rublev 6-3, 7-6 to claim his place in the fifth semi-final of the season. The American has now won 19 of his last 22 matches, including reaching the Wimbledon semi-finals. Fritz squandered a match point in the second set, then lost the next 2 points, but he eventually prevailed over Rublev. Four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka will face Clara Tauson of Denmark in the semi-final of the Canadian Open in Montreal on Wednesday. Osaka advanced to the last four clash with a comprehensive 6-2, 6-2 triumph over Elina Svitolina. Osaka, chasing her first WTA tour-level title since the 2021 Australian Open, now needed only 68 minutes to reach the next round. Osaka seeks her 8th WTA level title. She last won a WTA level title below the Grand Slams at the 2019 China Open. Meanwhile, Danish star Clara Tauson stunned reigning Australian Open champion Madison Keys 6-1, 6-4 in the quarterfinals. Montreal is the first event where Tauson has beaten two top 10 players, that includes Iga Swiatek and Keys. 22-year-old Tauson seeks her fourth career WTA title after the 2021 Lyon and Luxembourg Open. British number one Emma Raducanu has hired former coach of Rafael Nadal, Francisco Roeg, for the rest of the 2025 season. This marks Raducanu's 8th full-time coaching appointment since her 2021 breakout, signalling a renewed push for stability and technical growth. With Roeg now leading her team, she aims for a strong showing in the upcoming US Open swing. Roeg, who was a part of Nadal's team from 2005 to 2022, during which the Spaniard won 22 majors, joins Raducanu ahead of Cincinnati Open following a trial. Roeg worked with Nadal's uncle Tony, Mark Lopez and Carlos Moya for close to 2 decades before leaving his team in 2022. He then coached Italian Matteo Berrettini between 2023 and 2024. The 80th anniversary of the atomic bombing in Japanese town of Hiroshima is being observed today. About 55,000 participants, including international guests from a record 120 countries and regions, observed a moment of silence at 8:15 a.m. local time, the exact time when the uranium bomb was dropped on Hiroshima by the US. So on August 6th, 1945, Hiroshima was transformed in a blinding flash and the city's destiny was forever rewritten by the world's first atomic bomb. Our next report revisits how the tragedy exposed dangers of unchecked scientific power.
Every brick, every voice, and every heartbeat changed in a moment. That act, unprecedented in its scale and suffering, remains, 80 years later, humanity's most haunting testament to the perils of scientific power when uncoupled from conscience. Hiroshima Day endures not as a date frozen in time, but as a living memory that shapes our world's sense of urgency and possibility. When America's atomic bomb Little Boy exploded over Hiroshima, tens of thousands vanished in a heartbeat. The city burned for days while families desperately searched for missing loved ones in landscapes rendered unrecognizable by fire and ash. By the end of that year, approximately 140,000 people had died. Those deaths did not come all at once. Some perished immediately, disintegrated, incinerated or buried beneath rubble. Others died more slowly, struggling with extreme burns, internal injuries, radiation sickness, and even toxic black rain. Yet, Hiroshima's story has never remained fixed in suffering. In the wreckage of absolute devastation, the city chose not retaliation, but renewal. 8 decades later, 12-year-old Shun Sasaki is promoting a message of peace by educating tourists and locals about the dark history of the city through his lived experience of his great-grandmother who survived the atomic bomb.
The most dangerous thing is to forget what happened a long time ago. So I think we should pass the story to the next generation and then never forget it ever again.
Even as such first-hand accounts slip from living memory into history books, Hiroshima refuses to let the world forget. But with more than 12,500 nuclear warheads still existing around the globe across 9 nations, the risk today is no longer theoretical. Jessica Taneja for DD India.
Nagasaki and Hiroshima remind us to put peace first every day, to work on preventing conflicts and resolving them through dialogue and not violence. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live, and you can download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.